Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to my channel, Easy Sewing with Tyke. My name is Taiwo. On the channel today is a detailed and precise cutting and sewing tutorial on how to make this gorgeous boo dress with fringe and an external V-shaped facing. So if this is something you're interested in, then you want to watch till the end. Now, if today is the first time of coming across this channel, you're welcome. A round of applause to you. Thank you for stopping by. You will love it here. To all returning subscribers, thank you for always coming back. You're welcome. Shout out to you all. I appreciate you all so much. If you're yet to subscribe, I don't know what you're waiting for. Kindly hit the subscribe button. Like this video if you get value. I know that you will, okay? Now put on the post notification. You don't want to miss any of our tutorials. Share also. Share, okay? Don't enjoy all this goodness alone. Also, I would love to know what part of the tutorial you like the most or what value you actually gain from this tutorial today. Now let's get started. Here is the fringe that was attached to the bottom of the dress later. I guess it's 20 inches thereabout. Now I'm going to have to fold my fabric into 4 because I'm cutting both the front and the back at the same time. That chalk line you can see is my start point. So what I'm measuring out there is my shoulder measurement. Shoulder measurement divided by 2 is 8. I've marked that out. The next thing to mark out now is the sleeve length. So the sleeve length I'm working with will be 9.5. I just showed you the plain fabric that I will be adding to the sleeve opening later. So the combination of the two measurements is 17.5. That's 8 plus 9.5. Now the next thing to do is to determine the sleeve opening. So the sleeve opening that I'm working with is 18. 18 divided by 2 is 9, and I'll be adding 1 inch allowance there for joining. So I'm just going to go ahead and measure out the 17.5 inches that I have on that sleeve opening mark and just connect it like so. Now it's time to impute the vertical measurements. The first one being the chest line. That is what I just marked out. I made use of 12. Since this is a boo-boo, it doesn't have to be fitted. Followed by the shoulder to the waistline, which is the half length. I'm making use of 17. That's what I'm marking out. Followed by the shoulder to the hip line, which is 27. So I'm just going to go ahead and mark out the 3 lines like so. Now on the chest line, I'll go ahead and impute the bust measurement divided by 4. Then I'm going to add 3.5 inches, 2.5 being the ease that I want there and 1 inch for the joining allowance. So on the waistline also, I'm going to impute the waist measurement divided by 4, then add the 3.5, 2.5 being for the ease and 1 inch for the joining allowance. On the hip line that way, I'm going to impute the hip measurement divided by 4 as well, then add the same 3.5 inches. Then I'm going to connect it like so, and from the hip line I'm just going to have a straight line that connects this to the hem of the dress, which is the full length of this dress. And the next thing to do now is just to give it a curve at that area. You don't want that side to be sharp, you just want to give it a curve like so, connecting the bust to the sleeve opening. Now I'm going to come down by ½ inch at that sleeve opening, so I'm going to have the shoulder slope. So I'm going to put the neck width. The neck width that I'm working with is 3 inches. Then I'm just going to connect it to the ½ inch drop that I have at the sleeve opening like so. Now for the back neckline, I'll be coming down by 2 inches. That's the neck depth for the back. I'm going to connect it like so. It's a round neck. And for the front neckline, I'm going to be coming down by 7 inches. It's a V neckline. I'll mark where I have the 7 inches. Then I'm just going to place my ruler that way to achieve the V shape that I desire for this style. After which I'll go ahead and add ½ inch allowance at the shoulder that way for joining. Then I'm going to go ahead and cut out this dress. Make sure that you don't cut the front and the back together because of the different neckline. Starting with the front, it's time to cut out the facing for the front, but it's just that this time around the facing would be external, as you can see in the final result. So I just placed my fabric on fold that way, and I traced out the V-shaped neckline. Then I turned it over and I just decided on the wideness that I want the shape to be. I'm going with a V-shape facing design too. Then I just ruled a straight line that way. I'm going to adjust it a bit later. Just work with whatever design work for you. This V-shape design work for me as well. Now when you are doing this, you want to make sure that whatever width, that is the wideness of the facing that you are working with, you have to consider the fact that you are still going to turn this facing with the main bodies of the dress. So for example, if you want it to be 2.5 inches wide, you want to mark out 3 inches because you are still going to, in fact 4 inches, because you are still going to turn the facing with the main dress, and you are still going to fold the facing to achieve a neat look before stitching it down on the dress. So you can see that I'm adding a 5 inch allowance like this that I'm going to use to turn the facing to achieve a neat look, so you don't want to forget that. After which I'm just going to cut it out like so. So you don't need to cut two of this, just one. Now for the back, it's going to have a slit for easy wearing. So the length of the slit is 5 inches. I'll mark it that way, and I'm just going to cut it through. Now it's time to cut the facing for the back. The facing for the back is not going to be external, it's going to be internal, but you can make yours external if you desire. So following the same process I did at the front, you want to cut out the neckline that way. Then you are going to slit it as well, because you are going to use this facing to turn it. Then I'm going to turn it to the other side and just determine the length that I want the facing to be, and I'm going to cut it out. And we are done on the cutting table. It's time to move over to the sewing machine. Now here is the front facing. I've gone ahead to stabilize it by ironing and interfacing a soft stay on it, as you can see. Then I've gone ahead to fold the edges using 1/2 inch. At the end of the day, when you fold it this way, you want to make sure that it aligns. That is, when you fold it, it's folding into 2 equal parts. Now it's time to fix it. Now, because this facing is external, here is how you want to place it. You want to make sure that the right side of the facing is facing the wrong side of the fabric, so that by the time you turn it, the right side of the facing would automatically falls to the right side of the fabric. So again, make sure that the right side of the facing is facing the wrong side of the fabric. So I'm just going to go ahead and sew it like so, using 1/2 inch all the way. After which I'll go ahead and notch it all the way, especially at that V part. You want to make sure that you notch it. Then I'm going to go ahead and place it this way. You want to make sure that the sewing is facing the Ankara. Then I'm going to go ahead and top stitch on the Ankara now. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and top stitch on it all the way. Now here's what I have. You want to go ahead and give it a good press, then use your pins to hold it down, and after which you start sewing it down neatly. You want to make sure that you sew as close as possible to the edge. Now you might want to have a little bit of excess there, especially if the fabric is stretchy like mine. It's fine. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut off the excess like so. Now to the back, because the back facing is internal, the way we are placing it is a bit different from that of the front. Now the right side of the facing must be placed on top of the right side of the main fabric, the Kampala fabric. So I'm going to go ahead and place it this way, but before I do so, I'm going to sew all the edges of the facing to make it neat. Now you want to sew it at the neckline and also at that slit like so. Just sew it with 1/2 inch like so. Then notch it properly just like we did at the front. Go ahead and top stitch, but this time around we are top stitching on the facing because it is internal. Remember that for the front we top stitch on the main fabric because the facing is external. Now the next thing to do is to join both the front and the back together at the shoulder. So I'm going to join it together using the French seam method, which involve sewing it at the front first before turning it and sewing it at the wrong side. That is, sewing it at the right side first, just as I am doing right now. Then I'm going to turn this over and sew it at the wrong side to achieve a neat look. Next thing to do now is to attach that band to the sleeve opening. So you want to make sure that that sewing allowance faces the back. It's always better that way. Now for the band, the width is 2.5 inches on fold because I want the wideness to be 2 inches. So you just want to go ahead and fix it like so. So this is what my sleeves look like. Remember to top stitch. Remember to top stitch, okay? Now I've gone ahead to fix my pocket off camera. The link to my previous tutorials on how to fix pocket would be in the description box, so I don't want to bore you with that. Now the next thing to do is to sew it at the sides. Those join the front and back together at the side. So when joining it at the sides, you want to be careful not to sew over your pocket opening. You can use your hand to feel the start of the pocket and the end of the pocket, so you do not sew over your pocket opening. So here's what we have so far. Now it's time to move to the final part of the sewing tutorial. So here you want to pay attention, as I'll be attaching the fringe a bit differently from what you might be used to. Now placing the fringe this way, you want to place it half inch away from the edge of the fabric, not at the exact edge of the fabric like that. No, you want to place it half inch away. Then you want to sew it at the upper part that way and at the lower part that way. Don't worry, just pay close attention and follow through what I'm doing. You would understand. So I'm sewing it at the upper part right now. I'm going to show you what I have before I start sewing it at the lower part so that you can understand. Now you can see that I am sewing it half inch away from the hem of the fabric. So I'm done with that. I'm going to turn it over to the wrong side. Now you can see that I have just one stitch line that way. Now I'm going to go ahead and sew it at this other side. Okay, so by the time I'm done, I'm going to have two stitch line that way. Now I'm done. You can see that I have two stitch line. Yes, this is what you want to have. I've secured the fringe this way. After which you want to go ahead and fold the half inch that was left earlier over it this way. Then fold it the second time and just sew as close as possible to the edge. By the time we are done sewing, you would see that the fringe has been so secured and it is not going to pull out. If you attach this fringe the regular way we usually do it, some of the fringe might be pulling, okay, but if you fix it this way, the fringe is not going to pull. The fringe actually is not going to pull, and you are going to achieve a neat finish even at the outer part of the dress like so. And that will be all for today. Now, did you gain value? Did you learn something new? Did you enjoy the tutorial? If the answer to all of this is yes, then kindly let me know in the comment below. Hit the like button also. Share, okay, you don't want to enjoy all of this alone. And subscribe if you are yet to. You can also follow me on other social media platforms. It's Easy Sewing with Tyke. Till I see you in my next tutorial. Bye.